Hi guys.
Oh my god, fluffy girl.
We here.
Yeah, we're doing the thing.
So this isn't going to be any special kind of stream or anything. We're literally just working on stuff. No, it's no anniversary stream. That was several months ago. I think back in October.
Yes? No, it would have been
September,
August, I
maybe?
think.
August?
Yeah, sometime
Yeah.
before.
Because August was the actual anniversary.
August and October are the same months, but one has more Halloween.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, they both got big Thursday energy. You are correct.
They do,
there.
they do.
Yeah, so this is just us doing a little production stream, just kind of chatting and you all don't know this, but we actually have meetings every Wednesday to discuss the production of the series and, you know, map out what we need to do and just keep ourselves on track toward producing the next episode, the next chapter of the novelization, you know, whatever we're working on. And we decided that since we usually end up sticking around and talking for a while afterward, that we could just turn on streaming after we're done handling all the business stuff and just hang out and do some work.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, Tiff and I have been wanting to do work streams for a while, but we didn't want to start them until after Chapter 1 was released. So we'll probably be doing these more often.
And to those of you asking how long till the next chapter, it's gonna be a bit. We still have to finish editing chapter 1.
Trust me,
Hopefully,
when we
it will be
know,
out this year.
when we know, we'll let you know.
So tell them what you're working on, Tennille.
I'm working on character sheet for Peach.
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 It's Paish.
Peach. So for chapter 1, I had to get a bunch of character sheets done, but now that we're going into chapters that are going to be focusing on more specific characters, I want to make better character sheets for the characters as I go along.
Yeah.
And,
That'll be helpful.
In the stream today, we have Tennille, of course,
Yo.
who uses he/they pronouns. And I'm here, I'm Avalon. I use she/they pronouns. And we also have Snapdragon, who you may also know as Teef or Captain Morwyn, but we'll probably be referring to as Snapdragon more and more moving forward. And you're also she/they?
I am, yes.
We are the theys.
Here are the days.
Water's not feeling up to it today, but, you know, just wish her well in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
She's just been busy and, you know,
She tired.
she just needs a rest day, so. Also, this is a misconception that I've seen floating around just a little bit. Melancholy, that's a fucking excellent name, asks, if humans don't exist in this universe, then how are their fruits like, you know, peaches, because humans bred the fruits? And so I think we may have created a small misconception. It's not necessarily that humans straight up don't exist in the world, it's just that they're not gonna show up. There will be no humans in the story.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
Maybe
that
they-
humans don't exist.
Maybe it's post-apocalyptic or something, like humans did exist, but they just, you know, don't.
Or this
come
is
up.
just like a really remote island somewhere
Yeah.
that's not been discovered. Like, who, you know, they're just not around. But it's possible that there are humans somewhere. They're just not in our
Yeah.
story.
I wanted to do, like, some old ruins or something in the future, like, that they come across or something, so.
Oh, I love the ruins.
Ruins would be lovely.
Oh, ruins would be so fun to design because I love I love Snapdragon's maps.
Oh, yes.
goddamn much.
They're tasty.
I love to draw maps. I just really, really like drawing maps.
They're so good. And I was trying to like build an Animal Crossing island off of the map, and I realized I probably should have used the political map and not the topographical map. The topographical map. At least at first. I don't trust my Animal Crossing planning skills. I'm just gonna probably have to wait until I actually have an Animal Crossing game and then just like see what I can do with it from there.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to plan it out hypothetically. Oh, Alyssa Animates has a fantastic question. If you look back at your old art, what do you love and hate about it? I'm gonna try not to say everything.
God. I guess
I love my confidence at the time. I love my confidence that it was good and that I did a good job. And I'm not gonna say what I hate about it because that's dumb.
yeah, it's easy to just go like, oh, I hate everything about it. But like that's so not encouraging either. Yeah, the confidence.
There's so much of it.
The confidence. I love the time I put into it.
Yeah.
Like just focusing on details. Whereas now, I mean, I'm so glad I'm finally at this point where like I don't have to do that anymore. But like, I could not focus the way that I used to on like one piece for 80 hours. And I'm not even exaggerating there. I wish I was.
I'm the opposite. At the time, I couldn't really focus, so I was just like shoving out art all the time. And I love how much of it there is because you can really track like what I changed in each piece.
Mm-hmm.
But like now I can just sit here and draw the same damn thing for like days and days and days at a time.
You know, that was something I noticed, like, after you went to college, is that, like, it was, yeah, like, you used to do things so quickly.
Yeah.
As a one and done.
I was really quick in college, too. I was always done before everybody else. So I was like, well, why is that, though? Maybe I should slow down and, like, really make it something special instead of, you know, trying to just get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really consider myself an artist. Like, I'm someone who likes to draw sometimes, but I don't really think of myself as someone who, you know, does art, really, like TM. Like, capital A artist doesn't really, I think, describe me. So I think what I like about looking at my old art is just the fact that I didn't quit.
Yeah.
Like, that I did keep going, and you know, I'm still improving. Everyone's always improving all the time. And I think that since I started really paying attention to other people's art styles and how they draw and watching like the speed draw videos, like the drawing of blanks, the when you were doing the Wednesday ones,
Mm-hmm.
looking at Ray's art and really examining it, I think I've really developed in, like, I can't really see a sense of style, but other people seem to be able to point out things that are very prominent in my art. So I'm glad I just didn't quit and that I just kept drawing, even if it wasn't something that, you know, I was super serious about or considered something that could, I guess, be viable. Because, you know, I have that ambitious side where everything I do has to make a return somehow. And I never really considered art to be something that could do that for me, but I kept going anyway, so I'm proud of that, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of, you know, training to do art is getting the communication between your brain, your eyes, and your hand to all work together. And like, you talking about how you're looking at other people's styles and, like, feeling that influence, like, that's your eyes and your brain finally, like, communicating on an art level.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was so considering doing this. I don't think I'm going to because it would be just such a weird one-off. But I was considering doing like a style breakdown of Tennille's art, and just being like, here that I think is super cool, and you know, if it's kind of unique to Tennille's style, like not putting the lower lash line a lot of the times unless it really pushes an expression. Like having
I like that a lot too. I've picked it up too.
and like with your cat muzzles, usually if you draw them in like a 3/4 view, like you can very clearly see that there's like almost a not exactly a right angle, but like the bridge of the nose, like to the forehead. There's usually like a kind of line there that follows where it's not just the top of the nose, it's also the bridge line goes up, and a lot of people I haven't seen do that. But it really helps define the face shape a lot. Just things like that. Like I was considering just making a whole video where I just like draw into Neil's style as best I can and like explain like everything that I see in it. That's
It'd be
uniquely...
such a bizarre experience for me, because I'd be like, oh, yeah, I do that.
That's also kind of why I decided, I'm like, what if I'm wrong though? What if it was just this one drawing and he does it normally? The thing that I find craziest about Tennille's art is that he sketches with a pen, and
yeah, I remember because for anyone who doesn't know this story, Avalon and I met in real life for the first time when Avalon and Ray paid for Sean and I to visit them in California and go to Disney World, well, Disneyland. And so I brought a sketchbook along, and every once in a while I just start sketching. And I remember Avalon looking at me and just being like, are you... I'm sorry, are you sketching with a pen?
I was so flabbergasted.
And I was like, oh yeah.
We never released that video.
I still have the
we
stuff
never
for
did.
it.
Yeah, we just
It's
recorded
been,
it
like-
and never actually released it or did anything with it.
It's been over
I'm
2
so
years
glad I
and we've
made us
never,
put,
and I've just quit
say
bugging
the
you about it.
dates
Huh?
When we did that then?
Yeah.
Because it's been so long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have it.
Well, like, it wasn't even just that you were drawing with the pen, it was also that because of, like, the pressure that you were using, it looked like it was almost a pencil. Because there were some very, like, light, faint lines, and then, you know, darker ones, and I'm like, how? How is he doing that?
I used to get that too. I had a friend in high school that was like, how do you shade with a pen? Like, how do you do that? And I'm like, oh, I
Just do it.
do. It's, I don't know, you don't press as hard. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry.
I started doing it in high school because at one point some art teacher or something told me, like, a really good way to get confident in your art is to draw with a pen because it means you can't erase your mistakes. And so me, being the intense little shitlord that I was like, fine, I'll do it. And I did it.
And then I bought you a whole bunch of Disney pens.
And I use them. The Goofy pen is my animation pilgrimage pen, and I get very upset if it leaves my desk.
Aww.
And when it runs out of ink, I will buy it more ink. Or I will subsequently steal ink from the other pens to give to Goofy.
Goofy need ink.
He
Feed him.
He need ink. Hi, Tuss. Yeah, we working on things.
Yay.
So if anyone ever is curious about what the relationship is like here at a Starcat studio, that pretty much sums it up.
That's pretty much it.
Like if I had known, if I had known Teef and Audrey as well at the time, I probably would have tried to see if I could get them to fly out too.
Oh, dude, one day.
Oh, we all gotta do that. That'd be so fun.
Because like it
Although-
wasn't even really for anything. It was just I happened to have the money because I had gotten my my freaking Disney rewards card, and you know I my line of credit got extended, so I was like, well, we could like I could just put it all on the credit card and pay it off later.
Though I will say,
I just went.
Audrey and Teef might find our Disney park going a little different than theirs.
How so?
I mean, we're just very, very passionate about Disney parks.
I mean, I love Disney parks, man. I love Disney
Good,
World.
good.
I've been there several times. And I do experience it differently at an older age than I did at a younger age, for sure.
I mostly geek out a lot. Like, a lot.
Now that I probably shouldn't ride roller coasters, I don't know what I would do. So I would probably just enjoy food and looking at stuff and trying to catch lizards.
Okay, dude, though, going around and just eating food is a 10 out of 10 experience.
Oh, hell yeah. Food is
Yeah.
delicious.
And like with our group, there's always someone who doesn't want to go on whatever ride we're about to go on, so you'd never have to be by yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I hate the Matterhorn bobsleds with a passion. I will not go on that ride.
I don't know what that is because I haven't been to Disneyland.
It's like a toboggan. It's I don't like it.
It's a very rough roller coaster.
Oh, sounds legit, dude. I'd probably
It's-
throw out my back though. I'm too old for that.
The closest
dark
the
rides
closest
and stuff.
thing I can compare it to what's in Disney World is Space Mountain. But it's much worse on
Oh.
your back and your legs and your knees.
Yeah, it's a lot rougher than Space Mountain.
Yeah, we have at Elitch's, our shitty park in Denver. We have the Twister 2 roller coaster, and it is one of those like super bumpy, crazy roller coasters. I used to love that thing though. But now I'm not so sure about riding roller coasters because I don't know if I'll get like vertigo or something.
I mean, can you still go on stuff like the Haunted Mansion and
Oh,
like
probably.
those slower, smooth rides that aren't so like maybe not Pirates of the Caribbean because at Disneyland they have a tendency at the end to like when before the boats are going up the lift hill, if it's a busy day, sometimes the boats tend to like bump into each other and that can be a little jarring.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that shit. I'm really,
like-
really intense. Like, I'm a super intense person in real life. I'm very aggressive and I want to do all the things. And so, unleashing me upon a Disney park, I don't know if that'd be a good idea.
Well, see, that's always my thing. I really don't like fast, scary rides or roller coasters. If I go to other amusement parks, I'm mostly like, yay, let's spin around.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm pretty sure spinny rides like the teacups would probably make me vomit at this point. But I would like to test it out and find out for real.
But when it comes to Disney parks, I'm like so up for anything because I'm like, oh, well, Disney couldn't handle the backlash if something bad happened on one of their
Right.
rides. So I trust everything that they in the park.
Oh, you know
Yeah,
what we need to
destroy
go
them.
do the next time we all get to hang out and go to Disney? I haven't been to Galaxy's Edge yet.
Oh, yeah. Sean and I got to experience that.
I will admit I give not a single crap about Star Wars, but the rides look cool.
It's really neat. And yeah, I'm the same. I don't I don't give much of a crap about Star Wars.
I like Star the War.
Star the War.
I like the Star the War.
Yeah, Sean and I tried the blue milk. We tried their weird popcorn.
Okay.
I mean, I will say that I probably care more about Star Wars than I care about, like, Avatar, but...
Oh god, Avatar. The Avatar land is so...
Like, there's so much to it for this movie that, like, no one remembers.
Okay, so for the Galaxy's Edge, I got to ride the Smuggler ride. Gosh, I'm forgetting.
Smuggler's Run.
Yeah, Smuggler's Run ride. Did not get to ride the Rise of Resistance ride because that one was so new that they were still only like letting like Disney member people ride it and like news press and stuff like that.
Yeah, like it just opened here.
Yeah. But like the theming of the land and stuff was really cool. And then in Pandora, the Avatar land, we were able to ride the boat ride, which was so boring and bad, and I'm usually all about those kinds of rides.
I love boat rides.
I love boat rides too, but it was... Yes, I have, and she's not exaggerating when... Like, her videos about, like, boring things that I love to do at Disney, that's, like, my top 10 list, too. Her and I are on the same brainwave there. But yeah, no, that ride is so... And we waited, like, an hour and a half or more to get on it, and it was just so disappointing.
I want to go to Universal and ride the Jurassic Park ride again because that's like my favorite thing ever.
Ooh. Oh god, I went to Universal
like 80 bazillion times.
I went to Universal with family, and that was not a great time because all they wanted to do was spend time in the Harry Potter land, and I was just like, I hate this. I hate this so much. And that was before a lot of the,
God damn it, J.K. Rowling. Like, I know that's not why, but all
I
you
mean,
had to do
that was a good part of it, because some of the JKR stuff had started to come around. Like, she hadn't yet wrote her essay yet, but, you know, being in the Hogwarts land was just like... The Hogwarts land is 99% expensive merchandise, which...
It really is.
I mean, that sounds on brand for them.
Yeah, like, I know that shouldn't be a surprise or, like, really even be a hot take when, you know, most theme parks are a good percentage of merchandise, but, like, I don't know, it just felt even ickier in the Hogwarts land area, partly because a lot of the merchandise that they push to sell onto you is so expensive, and it's stuff like buying these really cheap-ass thin robes for your house, or like buying a wand, and it's squeezed into these tiny little shops because they try to make it look like Diagon Alley, and it's so crowded and claustrophobic. And takes you hours to get through, like, any shop.
Just not fun.
Yeah.
That's not really my favorite thing to do at parks, so...
It's like, I love browsing shops at Disney World or whatever, and just, like, walking around and looking at the merchandise. But, like, in the Disney shops, they make the buildings nice and wide open, so you can walk around without, you know, bumping shoulders with people. But in the Hogwarts one, apparently JKR demanded that they make it as, like, true to Diagon Alley as possible, even though that's horrible theme park design.
Yeah, like, what about fire escapes and stuff?
And they literally have another shop where it's literally just, like, convert your money into nuts, sickles, and whatever, like the Hogwarts money. But it's not a one-to-one exchange. It's like you're paying $20 or
You're just giving
$30 for a nut.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, this feels... I don't like
This
it.
feels exploitative, and it sucks because you know that there's so much merchandise that's better quality, less expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I am not in the business of buying any Harry Potter merchandise, whether it's from the official or fan shops anymore, because that should be banned in this house now. But
That ship has long sailed.
Yeah.
like, it's so... It's gross. It's gross because it's not even like quality merchandise. It's literally just theme park. Like, it's gonna last you a week.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was the thing, too, is the robes were like, you know, robes you would make, like, made out of fabric you would make, like, curtains out of, and you can, like, see through them.
Sheer curtains.
Yeah. And the wands aren't, like, you know, you go into Ollivanders, and you can't just, you know, buy a wand like, you know, the ones that you can get on, you take, like, the personality test on Pottermore or whatever. It's like, no, you can buy Snape's wand, like the same kind of Snape's wand you can find at a Walmart bargain bin, because they decided to pick up Harry Potter merch. Or you could buy Dumbledore's wand, or the Elder wand.
Huh.
It's like, at least make it, you know, cool shit if you're expecting people to pay like $50-$60 for that kind of stuff.
Sometimes you can make DIY wands, but it's like, who wants to own their Potter? Well, I guess some people want to own their Potter. Like I'm trying not to shit on people who want this merchandise, because I know there are people who do, but it just feels like they shouldn't be charging as much for it as they do.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't
People-
feel like it's worth the price that you're paying for it, but people know that the people making them know that people will pay that price for it because nostalgia, which, you know, Disney's not exempt from either.
Mm-hmm.
Disney merchandise is overpriced as hell, and we all know that. That's why we don't really buy merch.
Yeah.
Like, don't buy your dolls at Disneyland. Like, don't take your kid to Disneyland to buy them Disney toys. Like, let them bring their own toys. Because they're the same dolls you can get anywhere else. They're just more expensive because they're from Disneyland.
Yeah. And I gotta say, like, you know, to be fair, to play devil's advocate here a little bit, like, when I then went over to Galaxy's Edge and saw how Disney was kind of copying the, you know, Diagon Alley, like, style of doing things, like, I felt that same kind of, like, This whole droid builder thing and lightsaber building thing, at least you can build your own thing, which I think makes it a little bit more worth the price. But, like, it does feel like that, oh, well, we're here in the park, so we've got to get the full park experience by doing this expensive thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with Pandora, too. Like, the premium merch in Pandora is so laughable.
Yeah.
Because it's like, who would pay for this thing? Someone asked if there's going to be Clouded Moon merch. I believe Tess has linked that we do have some prints. Maybe we'll also be coming out with, like, stickers and buttons. I don't really know. I don't think we have concrete plans on any of that just yet.
Had drawn some sticker ideas, but not sure on that. It's one of those.
Yeah, it's a kind of shrug. Maybe eventually.
The biggest
not
thing
something
that's
where-
stopping us, really, is the fact that we're just 4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone would have to, like, keep track of sales, and we already have kind of a time keeping track of the patron funding, and
There's a lot of stuff we'd like to do, but it's just a matter of having the time to do it.
maybe after a couple more episodes release, maybe we'll take a little break and work on merch. I don't know. It's not something we have concrete plans for right now.
Yeah. It'd be fun. I'd love to do it.
Yeah, I would.
I mean,
We'd
we do
totally
have
be doing
one,
it already, but
we
I
do
don't have any
one
experience.
pretty hefty
all
piece
doing
of
that.
merch that's in the works, but I don't know if we want to talk about that yet.
Yeah, we'll keep that a secret for now.
It's a secret.
But it's pretty awesome.
You'll like it.
But yeah, other than that, there's a couple of prints.
And just so no one gets their hopes up right now, because I'm already seeing it, it is not a plush.
Yeah.
I don't think that plushes will be a thing.
No, we're not big enough to be able to afford that kind of stuff.
Like if
Plush
you
is
find
a
someone who
big
makes-
commitment.
If you find someone who makes plushes like commissioned online and you want to get one of our characters, I think that'd be fine. But we're not
Mhm.
going
Yeah,
to
that'd
probably
be
be
fine.
producing any.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna commission one from my friend who makes plushes, but that's just for me, so
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I absolutely want to get plushes at some point.
yeah.
I guess we can say that you're free to commission plushes of our characters, and if you do, please like add us on Twitter. We'd love to see it.
I'd love to see
Yeah.
it. I am using Clip Studio Paint. I saw someone asking what program I'm using.
Someone also says, if I get a commission plush, can I send it to y'all? Oh, I don't think we have a PO box, and we're all in different states. So, you know, you enjoy that. You keep that for yourself. You enjoy that. You snuggle her at night.
I have a P.O. box.
Yeah, Tennille has a PO box, so if you want to send
Tennille
him
and Sean
one,
have one. I didn't
So
mean that
send
like
him all the plushes.
Because like
If you
water
wanna
lives
buy-
with Tennille and Sean,
yeah. So that's like half the team. So yeah, send it to Sean and Tennille's PO box.
And, you know, I can send things to Tief and Avalon.
Yeah.
So, in a roundabout way, yes.
You sort of can, yes.
All right. So now I have to ask, who would you guys get plushes of? Like, if you could choose one, and you have to pick one, only one,
Only one?
only one character, who would you get a plush of?
Wolfthorn.
Guys, this is really hard.
I know. He's like, spotty, or would I do golden pelt?
I think
would I
I'm
do
legally obligated to get Pool.
Wild fur would be like the cuddliest plush. Like a
Yeah.
wild fur or a peach.
I would love a Dawn Frost, but I feel like Wolfthorn would translate better to a plush.
I feel like I'd have to get golden pelt though.
Yeah, you would.
And he would sit on my desk and he would smirk at me while I get my
Yes.
work done.
And then you could cuddle him while you're sleeping in bed.
He would stay on my desk and I would just give him a loving pat. I'd be like, "Good night. Good night, asshole.
Good night, golden pelt. Good work.
You man the fort."
I would get Pool, and I would use him to tease Ray constantly. Like, I would put him under the covers at night, and when Ray came to bed, I would be like, no, you're already here. I don't...
Oh. What?
Just like, I don't know. Which one is
I
the
would-
real Ray?
I would take Wolfthorn on every journey with me so that he could see as much of the world as he's seen.
Oh,
in
that's
the
so
story.
cute.
And I would take pictures of him out in the forest or at Garden of the Gods or up in the mountains.
Oh, Tief, we've got to make this a reality. That's too damn
I
cute.
know.
That's
I
so
see a lot of people
wholesome.
getting Moss, and I'm happy for her. Good for her.
Good for her.
Yeah.
She'd be a fun pal to have around.
You could just like chuck her at people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Your friend's being annoying, you just chuck moss at her.
Get a rainfall plush that has like the color changing fabric, so when her paws get wet, they turn red.
Oh God.
That's legit.
What happened here? We don't know.
It's fine.
No one knows.
Certainly nothing occurred between her and another colony cat. Nothing happened there. Oh yeah, I sell I sell vague spoilers sometimes. I don't think I'm gonna do that, though. I mean, if people did super chat me for vague spoilers and like unnames, it would go toward Starcat Studios. Should we do some unnames since I'm here and just kind of fucking around?
Yeah, whatever you want to do, man.
I just want to clear with you guys. Okay, super chat me any amount of money, I don't care how much, and I will tell you an unname, and you can request the character. So basically, unnames are I will tell you for like new claws and stuff. I will tell you what their name isn't going to be.
But don't ask for Moss because people have already asked that and we've already given them the actual answer, so.
Yeah, Moss, because the original person who played Moss did want us to keep that name because it had special significance, Moss's name has already been confirmed. So it would be a waste of time to ask for an unname for Moss.
And because people are gonna ask, it's Moss Whisker.
Yeah, Moss Whisker is going to be her name. And it's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Whiskies. You know, Mossy with, like, I just imagine her with, like, Moss just hanging off one of her whisks, like, a little bit. So cute. So yeah, donate whatever you feel like. Give me a new claw or a kit name. I will tell you what their names will not be. Or other vague spoiler that are, like, silly and not serious. Because I'm not going to share actual spoilers for the series. I want you guys to know that before you send anything in. And all the super chats will go towards supporting the production. Yay!
Yay.
Also, I should fess up that the spoiler thing is literally the only reason why I make any money on YouTube at all.
And that's hilarious.
Oh, we don't have super chat
Oh,
on here.
well, that'll that
well,
puts an
okay.
end to it quickly. I'll try and fix that for later. Some other stream. It could be
Well,
because
never
we're a
mind.
fairly new channel still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we're monetized even.
We are. I should probably check on that soon.
Like, I think you have to go to the studio and go to monetization and turn super chat on manually.
Yeah.
Same with memberships. If we wanted to do memberships on this channel, which isn't something we've really talked about, but given that we have those cute little emojis for the Discord server, I think it might be worth it. Like, that's literally what I did for the membership on my channel, is, like, I took those little, like, pride emojis,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just, like, a $1 a month thing, and you just get to use, like, the little pride emojis in the chat. And I'm like, yeah, that's cute, and, like, you can join the Discord, which I think we would probably keep the Discord patron exclusive, because it's already pretty crowded.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you know, I think that'd be, like...
That's
if people
doable.
want to donate, but they don't want to, you know, they can't commit to, like, $3 a month, maybe just, like, $1 a month, and they get to do little faces in the chat. I think that'd be nice. We'll talk about that more probably next week's meeting.
Yeah, you guys do you. I'm not the social media person.
I mean, I am definitely not the social media person either. Generally, Water's the PR person.
That's true, yeah.
Water has the patience of a saint. You and I aren't allowed to deal with the public.
No. No. I don't think the public wants to deal with us anyway.
I'm mean. You guys don't want to talk to me.
I'll
You know
just
what
disappear.
occurs to me?
Sorry, what?
Paw is now a valid suffix for our series because it's not strictly apprentices
Yeah.
anymore. So we
Someone
could just
pointed
create
that out
a-
to me. And I was like, huh. We could use that. There have been times in the past where I'm like, but they have an interesting paw. I want their name to be blank paw.
Yeah.
Or pause, like silent pause would be such a cool
Yeah.
name. So that opens up some options.
Like Hush Pad in Tail Chaser.
Yeah.
I always liked that name.
Hushpad had a cool name. I was mad about what. I really don't know how to feel about that book, honestly.
I know, it was so weird.
Like, it kind of gave me, like, ending of Lord of the Rings vibes, and those always, like, hurt me, so. Like, I don't know what it is about the ending of Lord of the Rings, but it just makes me feel some type of way every goddamn time. I know it's coming, but every time I'm just like, I don't even know how to describe the feeling. I hope one day to write something that makes other people feel that confusing feeling.
It's like a good but bad feeling at the same time.
Yeah, like I feel feelings and therefore I am confused.
It's weird. It's like it's the feeling of knowing that it couldn't have ended any other way, but still wishing that it had been different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's bittersweet.
Yeah, it's like the most intense bittersweet feeling is what I have for the ending of Lord of the Rings. And maybe one day my own writing shall capture that intensity. It is something I aspire to.
You know a book series that makes me feel kind of a similar way? Except more so mad than anything else, because I feel like it could have ended in a different way. I'm just like...
Warrior Cats.
No.
Chronicles of Narnia.
No. Series of Unfortunate Events.
Oh, I never got to the end of that one.
I didn't care because it was about children and not animals.
So, does anyone in here in this RBs care about spoilers?
No.
I absolutely do not, and also I think you should make a whole ass video about whatever you're about to say, but go forth.
There are so many things I should make whole ass videos about, but we'll
Like,
see if it ever
question
happens.
Does he have time?
Yeah.
The answer is no.
No.
The fucking world ends with you, when? When?
When?
I don't see Willow here, so I have to be the one.
Yeah, so the whole premise of a series of unfortunate events is, of course, like, the Baudelaire orphans are orphans, and, like, they find out that their parents were part of this, like, secret society, and they were fighting with this other secret society, and, like, as the books go on, you find out that, like, everything that's kind of happened in their lives has happened because of these two secret societies fighting, and maybe at one point they were, like, part of the same society that broke off into a civil war. But, like, all of this is just, like, clues that they pick up on as the series goes on, and then you get to the last book, which is literally titled The End. And instead of actually wrapping any of that shit up, the books end with the Baudelaire orphans adopting a child on this abandoned island they found, which was, like, where a bunch of these secret society people were. They adopt this child, and then they make like a raft, and they set out to the sea.
That
And-
sounds really strange.
And like the last paragraph is like, well, I wish that I could tell you what else happened to the Boulder Lair orphans, but this is unfortunately where my research ends, because the author, Lemony Snicket, is acting as though he is a researcher of the children, and he's just giving you like the tale as he's put it together. But he's like, but this concludes my research. He's like, this concludes my research on the Boulder Lair orphans, because I only set out to study the Boulder Lair orphans. I did not go out to study the Boulder Lair parents.
Huh.
That's kind of giving me some weird vibes.
And then that's it.
Damn, what an anticlimax.
Yeah, a series of unfortunate events. Some people are asking. That's the book series I'm talking about. And I was reading the books as they were coming out too, so it wasn't like I binge read all of them. And
that must have been even more disappointing.
yeah, because like I waited years between installments, and like finally the end came out, and I was like, oh cool, it's this big thick book, we're gonna find out what's going on. And I read it, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Especially because a series of unfortunate events was one of those first ones that like really built up this overarching mystery, where like every book gave you a little bit more, like another piece of the puzzle.
Oh yeah.
And then it just kind of threw it off the table.
There are a lot of people who do defend the ending because they're trying to say like, oh, well the book series is actually about how life doesn't give you all the answers you want. And I'm like, fuck you.
Give me answers.
Yeah. Like, that shit is so unsatisfying to a 12-year-old. Get out.
Like, people also got mad at the ending of Animorphs, but, like, I thought that was really fitting because the whole point was war, not solving a mystery.
Well, and the point of the books wasn't the mystery, but the mystery is what kept you reading, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you probably weren't reading just to see what awful shit happened to these kids next, like...
Yeah.
I would.
Okay, yeah, well, some of us are sadists, but... Yeah, like, Animorphs 2 gives me, like, that really, like, bittersweet ending, and like, that's not a bad thing, like, for Lord of the Rings, or for,
How did it end?
Animorphs. Oh, you don't know how Animorphs ended? Holy shit.
Oh no, I stopped reading it because, again, humans, not animals.
Yeah, not animals. So... It's almost a seamless transition into another war. Like, they finally stop the war, and it's kind of genius how they end up actually doing it. Cassie is involved, and Cassie is best girl. But, like, Rachel's dead. Rachel basically gets sent on a suicide mission, and knows that. And Jake knows that. Pretty much everyone is aware that it's a suicide mission, and she's not coming back. So they have to deal with that. And... Oh god, I can't remember all of the details, but, like, Rachel dies on purpose, basically, because she knew she was not going to be able to go back to living a normal life anyway. And then basically none of them end up going back to normal lives. Like, I think Marco and Cassie do okay for themselves. Like, I think Cassie becomes an ambassador, and Marco, like, is able to lead a normalish life. Jake basically suffers PTSD for the rest of his life, along with the guilt of having killed his cousin, essentially. Tobias is never seen again. He just kind of flies off and basically just becomes a hawk. Like, he...
I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah, that sounds legit.
Like, his last tether to humanity is gone. He is never seen again.
He commits fully to furry.
Yes.
Yeah. And Axe ends up becoming some kind of military commander, which, you know, great for him, but he's so tired of war, and he's never going to get away from it now because that's really the only path left for him. And then, like, they get
sounds really depressing.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Like, you know, Cassie and Jake don't end up together because Jake basically can't function as a human being anymore. Like, he's essentially taken care of for the rest of his life because, you know, he helped save the planet. But he doesn't function. He is in such deep depression for the rest of his life, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
He's not functioning. And, you know, Cassie couldn't fix that, so she ollied out. She married someone else. You know, someone she met as an adult. Like,
oh, that's always the biggest bummer when you're a kid and you're like, oh no, the ship I shipped, they married someone completely who wasn't even in the story.
Yeah, and it's like there's all
But
this
it's
stuff.
like hella more realistic.
Oh hell yeah, but it's a bummer when you're reading about it.
Oh yeah,
That's
and you're
what
a
people
kid
had
and you're
to
like,
do
oh
with.
man.
Was
Yeah.
that it was a fairly realistic ending, and then, you know, another war starts off in deep space, and they do like a Bolivian army ending where, like, you know, this is the only thing Jake has left, so he goes to fight, and it's presumed he dies fighting in the war pretty much immediately along with everyone else.
That makes sense.
Because, you know, that's all that's left for him. He can't go back to being how he was before the war. That's all he knows now. So it's really sad, and it's like, again, you can't imagine it ending any other way, but you wish it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, by the time they get there to fight, like, I think Marco and Cassie end up going too, because, you know, embassy and stuff. Like,
That's a much
Axe
more
has already-
mature ending than I would expect from a series called
Yeah.
Animorphs.
Like, Axe has already been assimilated by whatever the new enemy is. It just kind of, like, absorbs your consciousness, so Axe
Dude,
is
that
already
shit was
dead, effectively.
intense. Like back in the day when I was actually reading that, it was really, really intense.
Like,
I was like, are we allowed to read this?
the thing was, YA hadn't really gotten off the ground yet, but Animorphs really should have been YA, because you could really tell that, like, in editing, the writing was kind of dumbed down to fit children's book standards, but none of the content was, like, children's book stuff. Like, it had realistic depictions of PTSD, and I really enjoyed that one part later on where, like, they were kind of getting desperate to recruit more people because they just legitimately couldn't keep going with only the few kids that they had. And there's a scene where, like, they end up going to, like, this children's hospital with, like, all these, you know, kids with disabilities, because the morphing technology basically fixes your DNA. Like, any injury that you get will heal itself when you morph.
Oh.
So they like kind of low-key attempted to use that to recruit these disabled kids because they're like, oh, well, if you weren't born blind or you weren't born with this thing, then if you take this technology, it'll fix that. And, like, the disabled kids tell them off.
Oh, I
Because
like
they're
that.
like, you know, how dare you try to bribe us with this?
Right.
You don't need a bribe to fight for our planet. And, you know, there isn't anything wrong with us anyway. Like, I think one of the blind girls was, like, nervous because she wasn't sure if she wanted to no longer be blind because she'd been blind for so long. She wasn't sure she could adjust to not being blind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, back in the 90s, and they were like, screw your ableism.
I like that.
Yeah,
And I
that's
think only
pretty sick.
Like, I remember they were, like, the auxiliary Animorphs, and, like, the main kid there was like, yeah, we'll join your cause, but, like, these are my troops, you don't command them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to Jake, he was like, yeah, like, I know these kids, I know what they need. You won't, like, speak for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn.
You tell them.
was like, oh, back in the 90s we had that good representation. Holy shit.
Yeah, surprising.
Like, Animorphs was really legit.
Which is, like, shocking for me. I've never, like, the most I've done is picked up an Animorphs book, looked at the front cover and looked at the back, and that's it. I have not read a single Animorphs book. But
I used to watch the show back in the 90s.
Oh god, the
but-
show.
my assumption about them was always that they were really childish.
Like, the writing is childish because you can tell that they, like, had all these high-level concepts and then they had to, like, write it in a way that was, you know...
For kids to understand.
Like,
Yeah.
if there was anything that really needs a young adult reboot, it's Animorphs, and I will stand by that forever, because the content of these books is really dark. Like, people talk about warrior cats being too violent for kids. No. You do not even...
You don't even know.
Horror of morphing itself, it could give your kid nightmares. Like, that stuff was
Very shit.
described graphically. And, like, the thing that always got me about it was that, like, you know, when they're morphing, especially if they're morphing to, like, a non-mammalian animal, they describe the sensation of, you know, your bones changing shape or disappearing from your body.
Oh,
and,
God.
Like, organs shift. And, you know, they always describe it as, like, oh, there's something in the morphing technology that, like, shuts off your pain receptors while this happens. But then they're always like, oh, yeah, if I could feel pain, this would be excruciating.
Ugh.
And occasionally, because it's a 2-hour time limit on the morph until you get stuck completely, sometimes they cut real close to that time limit and end up almost getting stuck halfway, and this happens to one of the characters one time when he was morphed as a flea, and
Oh, shit.
yeah, like, he got almost stuck halfway between human and flea, and one of the, I forget which perspective character that book has, but I know it's one of the girls, and she was looking at him and being like, wow, I never really knew why people were afraid of cockroaches. I get it now.
Mm.
And I'm like, like, these books were really intense. Yeah, it was Marco, Tuss's, I think Marco was the one who was getting stuck mid-morph. Like, that's why Tobias is a bird. He's stuck that way forever.
Perfect.
And, like, Alien God pulls some shit so that he can get his morphing powers back, but his main form is going to be a red-tailed hawk forever. And they're like, well, you could morph human and stay that way for 2 hours and go back to being human, but there's no point really, because he was from, like, an abusive household where he was neglected, so he's like, yeah, I would rather be a hawk than go back to my human life. And it's like, wow, that's depressing. There was a lot with that series, and, like, the way that it's written is so jarring to, like, the actual content that's in the books.
Sounds legit.
Because, like, the books do take the topic of war very serious. And to this day, the Hork-Bajir Chronicles is one of my favorite books of all time. Because it's just this really sad, like, again, that bittersweet feeling of, you know, it couldn't have ended any other way, but you didn't want it to end this way. Because it's, like, almost this very sweet love story, and then war happens. And that's it. War just ruins everything, and that's kind of the theme of the whole series.
I think that's why I liked the Hunger Games series so much. It was because, like, yeah, their world is fucked up, but starting a war about it kind of caused more damage than a lot of these younger people were able to handle. And it was just, like, so sad.
That was another book series I never read.
It's worth it, in my opinion. I read it, and it kept my attention the entire way through, and I really liked it, so...
I read and enjoyed the first book a lot, and then I liked it so much that I didn't want to read any other books because I was afraid that they would change my view of the first one.
I didn't even know what it was at first. I actually watched the movie first. Because I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. But Hunger Games sounds like some sort of like political drama movie. I don't know, whatever. And then I watched it. I was like, dude, this is legit. Kids fighting to the death for like a scrap of. Yeah, I love that shit. It was awesome.
Snapdragon says, "Fight to the death for my."
Fight to the death.
Oh, I know y'all are not dropping Wings of Fire spoilers in this chat.
Oh
You
yeah,
better not.
don't do it. The book has been
The
out
book came
for
literally yesterday.
a day.
I haven't finished it yet. Tennille hasn't even started it yet.
I didn't even know it was out until they
Yeah.
said so.
This is not a discussion board for Wings of Fire.
But yeah, like, I really liked the first Hunger Games book as, like, a meta commentary on celebrity culture.
Right, yeah. I liked that a lot too.
So, and I was like, I know that if I keep reading, that is not gonna be how this continues, so I'm just gonna stop. I made the conscious choice not to read the other
You
two.
right. Dang, why is this guy gonna have like stripes and stuff? Fucking golden.
I felt that way while I was working on his character sheet. I was like, damn. Why though? Any-
Spotty's like the easiest.
Any characters
Color.
with stripes, I'm like, fuck.
Stop.
God damn it, I couldn't mute in time.
Spotty is hard to draw, but easy to color.
Yes.
Golden is easy to draw, but hard to color.
Yes. This is true. I wonder if just animating these parts would have been faster. But I only wonder.
Maybe it would have been faster, but it wouldn't have looked as stylistically cool.
Yeah. We'll see how it looks.
I'm excited to edit all that. I liked what I edited for the first bit.
I'm sure it'll look pretty cute.
Oh, Montrainerash, the Spotted Shadow's name is still Spotted Shadow. We just call her Spotted or Spotty as, like, shorthand.
Yeah.
Spotted Shadow sometimes is just too many syllables for us to say.
Yeah, we've just kind of always called her that.
She is my spotty.
Sometimes we call Golden Pelt Goldie.
Or golden.
Goldie Man.
Douchebag, you know.
You know.
Prick.
Classic nicknames.
Good night, asshole.
Yeah. My sweet baby boy.
Is a sweet baby boy where I get to draw him.
Sweet baby boy.
Oh, someone has an interesting question. Is there going to be a trailer for episode 2? And around when do you think the revised version of episode 1 will be out? Don't know if we could answer the second part. I don't think we were planning on releasing trailers for individual episodes.
Nah, it's the same trailer for Shifting Roots.
Yeah.
I think that would just take up more time.
I mean, if anything, the trailer will be like, hey, episode 2 will be dropping in a month from now. And then as far as the first episode re-release, the current plan is to get episode 2 and the re-release of episode 1 done around the same time. And then re-release episode 1, and then a couple weeks to a month later, release episode 2.
Yeah. That was just an example, guys. It is not dropping in a month.
No.
No.
We wish. We wish, but no. That is not something we are capable of doing.
Her little beans. Oh.
If she has spotty toe beans, if she fucking has spotty toe beans, I will lose it.
Spotty toe beans.
Spotty toe beans.
Like, I think on her ginger paw, she should have spotty toe beans.
Oh.
My god, the chat is freaking out.
Is it?
Yeah, on mine it's like it started at the top and then I clicked on the page
Oh.
and it was just zoom in. Okay, now it's back to normal. Weird.
Trouble and Tsunami says, honestly, it's simple. Spotted Shadow and Dawnfrost date. Men have failed them too many times. I mean, listen,
They
Wildfire
wish.
has never failed Spotty.
Yeah. Yeah, and they wish.
But yeah, you absolutely bet your bottom that they had a crush on each other as New Claws, for fucking sure.
I'm sure they even talked about it and decided, no, we don't want the same things. It wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
Because they're adults.
The men in their lives, not so much.
Yeah.
Would Wolf and Wild be a couple? I don't think Wolfthorn is Wildfur's type.
Nah. Wildfur's straight, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Wildfur is one of the only straight characters we have. Like, Wildfur and Swiftmask are like the only main cast members who are straight. And honestly, Wildfur isn't even straight. He's just attracted to Spotty.
Yeah. He's spotty sexual.
Yep.
No, Golden Pelt's not straight. That fool's bi. You ever seen him try to sit? Nope. Wattpad Unofficial says Wildfur demisexual?
Basically,
Quite
yeah.
honestly, I would not object to just making him demisexual.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I see him.
Yeah.
Like, we
kind of-
tease him about being straight, but he really is more demisexual than straight. Golden Pelt X Wolfthorn. That's my other ship.
Oh god.
You
That would
might
be
be
awful.
able, if you read the most recent script chapter that I've worked on, you might be able to tell that I shipped Golden and Wolfthorn a little. just a small amount.
I like it.
Oh, and now we have a bunch of people going off on the LGBT representation, so I might as well just say, yes, we have LGBT representation, we have always planned to, there will be trans characters, There will be characters of all sexualities and genders, and if it isn't something that we're able to show in the animation because it can be hard to convey that kind of thing in the animation, it's something that I am actively looking for ways to include in the novelization form. So,
Yeah, because the show, we're pretty much like, you know, we're trying to hit
little
plot
bit-
beats. We don't really stop to talk about
Yeah.
romance and that kind of stuff very often.
like,
It's
unless
not
it's
really
relevant
about
to the
that,
plot,
yeah.
because a lot of background characters are also different sexualities, and like that's really not something that you're gonna catch in the episode itself. And we don't want to stop there with the representation, so we're kind of just seeing it more with the novel. We'll have more of the overt, like, putting it directly on the page,
Mm-hmm.
because animation is a visual format, and there's no way to look a sexuality
Yeah.
or like look a gender with these cats, because we don't really draw the cats as having significant gender markers a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people miss that Hawkstar or Hawkshell is a girl because she doesn't have the exaggerated like eyeliner. Because
She's
so
like
many
the
people
biggest,
are used
buffest
to-
cat there.
So yeah, we don't really design the characters with gender markers in mind for them. So there's no way to look a sexuality or look a gender, and since animation is a visual medium, we're just basically looking to expand a lot more in the novelization with that kind of thing, because we can. It's a little easier. And Aubrey Sepulvado has a good question. Did the story always have these representations a part of them, or did you feel the need to change a character to provide representation? And I feel like
Oh, we
really what
absolutely
happened-
changed things because, yeah, you gotta remember, this thing is like 13 years old.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like just as you get older and realize that there are more ways to be, you want to include those. Like, it's not like we specifically looked at the cast sheet and was like, okay, well, we need X amount of this kind of representation. It was more, hey, this character feels this way to me now, actually. Like, this seems like it fits the character better than
Right.
whatever they were before.
Yeah, it's less that you've changed them and more that you've just found out more about them.
Right.
Like me looking at Erica and being like, asexual's a thing. I didn't find that out till I was like in my 20s. Red Panda Fire says, I thought Hawk was non-binary. I mean, you can headcanon that too. Like, we're not opposed to people having their own headcanons for the characters. We won't take credit and say that we included that representation with that character, but if you want to headcanon them differently, go right ahead.
I mean, Hawkshell could be non-binary, but she's written female.
Control Studios, how do you describe time? I can't think of anything else but using the moon as time. We just do months.
Yeah.
Months, years, seasons. I don't feel like it really adds anything to the world building of this particular project to have them not use months.
Yeah, they don't need everything to be like their own specific language and understanding. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say there.
Cats could just as easily come up with the word autumn or fall or summer.
Yeah.
Also, that means we can have fall and summer and winter as like names, which excites me because I like them. I think they're pretty.
I've always wanted to use summer, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Or I guess not necessarily like cats could just as easily have come up with the term summer, but like if they use the same word for grass, why wouldn't they use the same word for the changing of the seasons?
Right.
Someone asked, I think it was Fox Lover asked if there will be an autistic character. They know that Moss is ADHD. Maybe. I don't think we've planned any character in Shifting Roots to be autistic, but that doesn't mean we might not have an autistic character down the line. Especially with me writing, because I just kind of tend to do it on accident. Shrek.
Mm-hmm.
The writing advice is write what you know, and as it turns out, apparently I know autism, so I get the same thing with Azzy, where people are like, "Oh yeah, Azzy like is a really good autistic character," and I'm like, "I didn't even know."
Oh, he is, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Oh, that's autism." I was just writing my own. Like honestly, I probably would never have figured out that it's very likely that I'm on the autism spectrum if not for writing these characters that are just like me, and then people being like, "Wow, what a good autistic character," and I'm like, "What?
What?
He is? Oh, thanks.
Totally meant that.
It was like I actually did write Nicholas from Like Falling Stars to be autistic, but he kind of ended up being more the social anxiety angle. But then people were like, "Oh wow, Azzy's like spot on for autism," and I'm like, "What? What do you mean that people don't just go silent sometimes?" To Bella Lond, Azzy is a character from the Stellar Eclipse series, which I write.
It's really good. You should go check it out. There's 2 books in the series.
So far.
But yeah. I'm working on Echoed Thunder, I promise, but Llewellyn is such a messy bitch.
I am excited. I love them messy bitches.
Well, he's not just a messy bitch, but he decided his chapters are gonna be from present tense only. And I'm like, thanks, I've never written a novel in present tense before. Thanks, I hate it. Crystallized Memories has a very good question. Did y'all plan for everyone to go crazy about Rain Kitty?
No.
No.
Certainly no. I expected people to be like, "Oh, hey, it's Moon Kitty," and then move on. I did not expect people to freak out as much as they did about Moon Kitty being in this project.
I mean, I expected a little bit, but like, I don't know. I deal with that a lot more. Like on the day-to-day. With a lot of my own YouTube comments and stuff, so like, I knew it was coming.
I was not expecting it to be. I was expecting some comments. I wasn't expecting like most of the comments to be about Moon Kitty. Thankfully, not too many of them are derogatory, because I will delete any derogatory comments that I see toward our cast.
Because that's just rude.
Yeah, that's just being mean. Like there are some good constructive criticism comments, like, you know, people pointing out, hey, the audio leveling here is a little bit off, or there's a little bit of a gap between the dialogue that makes it seem a little bit stilted. Like, that's really good feedback that we can actually use to improve on future episodes.
Especially because none of us are audio people.
We really aren't.
So that is our biggest weakness in terms of putting a whole show together.
Yeah, so like people pointing stuff out like that, that's really useful. That's actually really good criticism, because that's something we can improve on and can actually make better in future episodes. Saying that you hate someone who's voicing one of our characters isn't something that can help us. It's not something something that we can use to improve the series. It's just being mean.
Yeah, it's
Exactly,
just
it'll make
something
me
where I'm
wanna
gonna be
fight
like,
you.
well, it's just something where I'm gonna be like, too bad, get over it.
I'll straight up fight you, and you don't want to fight me. Trust me.
Like, you can have that opinion, but
It's not going to change anything.
yeah, like we're not gonna fire someone who's acting with us just because one person on YouTube didn't like it, or even if a bunch of people on YouTube didn't like it, because surprise, we're the ones who know how these characters are supposed to sound. And if we decide that this actor was the closest to that, then that's what's canon.
That's the way it is.
Oh, Peachy gonna make big open mouth face.
Oh, I'm so excited
Nice.
for big open mouth face. Peachy's awesome. I love Peachy so much.
Scald the Dragon just wants us to say hi. Hi,
Hi.
Scald.
Hey. Yes, Blix is my perfect Dawn Frost.
Blix is so good
Dude,
as
Blix
Dawn
made it
Frost.
so good. Like, if I didn't know it was her, I would not have recognized her at first.
I forget it's her all the time. Like
Yeah.
even
Like,
working on it, and
okay.
I talk to Blixamy rather regularly, and it's like I just forget it's her.
Like, the way she speaks normally is completely different from the way that she speaks as
A
Dawn
voice
Frost, and
actor.
that just amazes me. Like, I don't know how she gets her voice to sound so different just by changing the tone a little.
She is perfect.
I cannot wait to hear Falcon develops his golden pelt.
It's so good, dude.
Oh man.
And also, Rab / Cushfuddled is doing such a good job as Spotted Shadow.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Observe as I now forever headcanon Spotty as being on the autism spectrum. Because her voice actor is.
Yeah.
So if we don't have the diversity in the show itself, we've probably got it in the cast.
Which is good, because you always want to try to do that.
Oh, for sure. Once we finally get around to Black Sun, I am definitely going to give non-binary voice actors like priority casting for Patch.
Yeah.
I kind of want
Which,
Selena
doesn't-
to voice Dusk. Just
if she
She would
can,
be-
I don't know if
yeah.
She'd be really
I mean,
good
she does
Dusk.
voice acting, and
Yeah,
you know we're
like-
not associated with Warriors anymore, so
Oh, that's right. That means Selena can audition for us now. Holy
Mhm.
and
shit.
like she would be perfect for Dusk. I just gotta think about it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a long ass way away. So
Red Panda Fire says, if Peach dies, I will cry. The way I'm going for this, if anyone dies, you will cry. I am
Yeah.
going for those death scenes, man.
Selena
you-
can be
You're not
bought
even gonna
now.
like a cat, but you're gonna cry when they die, I swear. How many cats will die? Yes.
I also hope that there's some uwu soft beans who end up getting onto your stabby lists later on.
No one is safe, Tennille, you know this.
Uh-huh. Well, not like in a we're gonna kill them kind of way, but in a like, oh, my precious baby boy. Oh wait, he did what?
yeah.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Someone asked...
He
as
committed
new
a war crime?
Madison Huff says, as new claws get older, will their voice change? Probably not. That's kind of one of the advantages of hiring adults to do the voices. Like, I can't think of anyone we have currently voicing a young cat that wouldn't be able to voice them at an older age.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you get professional voice actors, because they can sound young and you can give them notes on how you want them to sound and they can do it.
Trouble in Tsunami, once again. You better not pull an Aaron Hunter and kill a character when we feel connected to them. You will feel connected to all the characters. You won't even want to feel connected to these characters, but you will, and you'll cry about it.
I just laugh.
Y'all having read my books already, just being like, I feel bad for a lot of you because you're not familiar with my writing, and I'm definitely not the only person, in charge of the story here. But if you've read my writing, you have a good sense of what's to come. And I am here to make everything worse. I have hurt each member of Starcat Studio personally with something I've done. In a good way.
Yes.
But yeah, no, that's not pulling an Aaron Hunter. That's just being an author in a series where characters can die. Also, I'm just gonna plug my bookstore. Hope that's cool.
Absolutely.
You do you, man.
Because I'm taking a shipment out on Saturday. I think someone mentioned in here that they got the books. I usually ship only on Saturdays, so... Patrick Adams says, I'm watching a show written by a bunch of devils. I love you. Please never change.
Aww.
Thank you. We don't intend to. Chelsea White plays Shot Through the Heart by Bon Jovi.
I just want to hurt our audience in the same way that all the authors of my childhood have hurt me. It's called sharing the trauma.
So, Fox Lover said those must be mine. Yes, Fox Lover, if you ordered the signed copies, they are going to be shipped out on Saturday, and I will give you a tracking number. You'll be able to follow them to your home. Yay.
Yay.
Medelicity Loose. I'm sorry, I probably mangled that. Do I self-publish? Yes. I have my own little self-publishing business going. I also sell books by other indie authors to give them a broader platform. So I have like a whole little like bookshop going with my books and other indie author books. Smolbean says, being an author is killing off any beloved character to hurt yourself and everyone around you. And that's correct.
Very accurate.
249. Which cat has the most big gay energy? I'm looking at Elmtail.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Elmtail's the biggest gay, maybe? Oh, no, who's the lesbian?
Rensong?
Rensong is just... Rensong's big gay.
Yeah.
They're big
Rensong
gays in
and
different
Elmtail.
ways.
Rensong and Elmtail are lesbian gay solidarity.
Elmtail is the big gay and, like, you just
A
want him
wholesome
around. He's so
Yeah.
wholesome. Like, just such a good person. And then Rensong is like, oh god, she could kill me.
Crystallized memories. Big gays in different ways. Perfect. That's us. That's us too as well. All of us. Someone asked, Madeline Finch asks, how many chapters are you planning for Clouded Moon? Clouded Moon, not sure, but Shifting Roots, can I tell him?
Yeah. I think we've talked
Clouded
about
Moon-
it before.
Yeah, Clouded Moon is 2 parts. The first part, Shifting Roots, we have 17 chapters/episodes planned so far. I'm currently working on scripting the rest of them. I'm up to 13. So I just have a few more to script out, and then we'll review that and get it finalized. But yeah, it should be 17 episodes for this first season. Corgi Artsy asks, how come Selena couldn't audition if it was Warriors related? Selena works for a publishing studio or house. Publishing house? Publishing house.
Yeah.
And Warriors was
that's
just like a
not-
direct competition, so...
Yeah, they're in direct competition with Warriors, so she can't post things that are Warriors related or promote things that are Warriors related directly on like her main social medias. Now that it's not Warriors related and therefore not in direct competition with the publishing house that she works for, she might be able to audition again. We'll probably have to ask her, and she'll probably have to get clearance for that, but it's more likely that she'll be able to audition for a small indie project as
Right.
opposed to a main competitor. Alicia Smurfit, that's a cute name, asks, what counts as the prologue, and will we see the prologue or just the novel adaptation only? The trailer technically is the prologue. Like that little scene at the beginning of the trailer is technically the prologue, and you will see it in the novelization as well. That's one of the ways that I hurt Starcat Studio.
Our poor boys.
I wrote the prologue as a personal attack. And dinner's ready, actually, so I'm gonna go grab some food, and I'll be back. And if we're still
get
streaming
food.
when I'm back, then neat. I drew a little peach. Some
Peachy.
peach. So I'm gonna dip, and I'll be back.
Alright.
Dip, 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 dip. He does have white back feet too. Oh, that's cute. I love him. God, I need a tissue. I'll be right back too.
Okay. It's just you and me, chat. You and me and the peach. Oh, good night, Tuss. Have a good night.
Time for stretches. Oh, little kitties. Okay. Oh, little kitties.
Oh, little cats.
Oh, little kitties. I have returned.
Welcome back.
Sometimes I gotta sing to my little cats because they're just adorable and they're little cats, man. You gotta sing to them.
They deserve it.
I'll get up when I get up, so.
They're like, what's going on?
Like, are we eating dinner?
Is it Din Din times? Dude, we totally had Taco Bell for dinner.
Oh, hell yeah. Me too, sort of. It was more like lunch-ish.
Yeah, I mean, I ate that a while ago. I'm thinking I'm gonna need more food relatively
I'm thinking I
soon.
wanna have, like, a giant-ass slice of chocolate cake pretty soon.
Yeah?
Yes. Yep. And maybe, like, a handful of leaves from the salad. Oh my god, look at Peachy! Her
Peachy!
leggies.
I made more puppy chow yesterday.
I really need to make some of that.
Hell yeah.
I have to remember next time I do a grocery order to get some checks.
Some checks.
Some checks.
Oh, I read the Magic Treehouse books as a kid a lot. I got through, I want to say like 30 or 40 of them.
What? Sounds like Goosebumps. What is it?
It's about this brother and sister who have a magical treehouse, and they travel like back in time to different eras, and they've got to solve like they're for really young kids. They're like for, you know, kindergarten through like 2nd grade.
Oh man, so like Goosebumps.
Yeah. And
horror.
Gosh, if I remember correctly, I think the person who like owns the Magic Tree House is like Morgana.
Huh.
And so she's sending them back in time to do various things.
That is interesting.
My favorite one was the pirate one.
Of course it was. That would be my favorite too.
I love pirates.
Me too. That's why we're captains.
Yes. There needs to be more pirates.
This is true.
I need more pirate shit. I understand the problem with writing pirates is like, you know,
Morals.
they're kind of awful people
Yeah.
and disgusting, but like,
Yeah.
I want more pirate shit.
Like, also the problem with liking pirate stuff is that it's such like a kid thing, like dinosaurs. I always get so frustrated about like looking for a new dinosaur book or something, because I legitimately want to read about paleobiology, not about, oh well, this is T-Rex and he's really cute.
Uh-huh.
Like, fucking stop. But like also kids like dinosaurs too, so there's gonna be like a lot of dinosaur stuff for kids.
But see,
But it
right
makes
now,
yeah.
right now, I think there's a huge unopened market for pirate shit specifically, because
Yes.
you could take the whole pirate angle of like, you know, fuck the establishment and we're here to steal from people who don't deserve it, like don't deserve the riches
Yeah.
that they've got. Like,
Yeah.
it's time for pirates to come back in a big way.
Let's do it. Let's write like a pirate story. You know, because we have time for that.
Yes.
I have time for that. But, you know.
I am using Clip Studio Paint Pro. For the people in chat asking.
What are you cats doing down there, huh? What are you doing? There's cats all over the place, guys. There's so many cats.
So many cats.
One on my couch and one on my desk and one under my seat. And there's one in a tiny bed behind me. And there's one on this other couch over here. I have a lot of cats.
You should just make a children's book novel about how many cats there
Yo.
are. Be so cute.
I don't know how to write for children's though. I need somebody else to write it for me and I'll just like draw my cats.
Oh. The
just so
tier
many
for the novelization is the bottom tier. So it's the $3 a month, and that gets you access to the Discord server, the novelization, and character moments that we post every month.
Yeah.
And the character moments are like, you know, character biographies with like a short story about a specific character each time. Sometimes they are more like a little short story that we have written about the character. There's a lot of just like background info you get with those. This month, actually, because it was just March 1st, we upload those on the 1st of every month. this last month, or like this March, we posted our character moment was about the crowd walla that goes on in chapter 1. So like all the different groups of cats that you can see in episode 1, we wrote out little scripts of where, like, what these groups were talking about during the gathering.
It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I have returned.
Welcome
Yay.
back.
Winnie was sitting in front of the computer like she was doing the stream.
Dost thou have the
Aw.
food?
Yes, it was spam and eggs.
Oh, nice.
It was good. I think it was like the first time I've ever actually had fried spam.
I don't think I've ever had
I
spam
liked it.
either.
It's
It
salty
was
as
pretty
heck,
good.
but it's not bad.
It reminds me of like, you know, that holiday beef log sausage thing that, you know?
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Like summer
It
sausage.
kind of tastes like that, except not as heavy. So I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see. Let me scroll up real quick because
Rogues are called unbound or renegades.
yes, here it is. System Software 115 asked, "What advice do you have for people who are taking a fan story and making it an original one? And what general advice do you have for indie writers?" I have a whole channel of writing advice for authors of all kinds. If you want to check out Rosalind Books, there's lots of writing advice there.
Yeah.
In terms of taking a fan story and making it original, don't be afraid to re-examine things. Ask why things happen the way that they do, because you're no longer bound to the original series lore. So if you want to, just don't be afraid to like go outside of your comfort zone more and make things more different, not just because you have to make changes to avoid copyright, but because it no longer makes sense for the story. Like there are some pretty, I don't want to say they were huge changes, but there were definitely plot points we had to re-examine and ask, well, does this make sense? Like, why would this happen? You know, if we're not just relying on the Warriors lore to make it happen, then why would it happen? Should it still happen?
Well,
Or should we do something else?
more so, I would say that what happened was when we were making the lore, like rewriting the lore, we were like, oh, well, if we don't have to stick to warrior stuff anymore, let's do this, because this makes more sense with the story we've written.
Right.
Thematically and just like
So find what makes sense
structurally.
for your story.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to do a certain thing, examine why it is that way and, you know, throw out what doesn't work.
I mean, I think another important thing to think about when you're, you know, doing that kind of thing too is that try and think about why the thing you're writing fan fiction of does things that the way that they do it. Like the Warriors books have the warrior code because the first arc was about Rusty being a kitty pet coming into the clans as an outsider. So a lot of the warrior code is specifically written around what to do about outsiders. Whereas
since we are more dealing with the ancestors' law being how does this society function, so it's more about the governing of the colonies within the alliance. And like there's some still about the warriors, or not warriors, the outsiders, but not as much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would be my advice for making a fan story into something original, is just look at the story that you want to tell and examine why certain choices were made. You know, just be ready to question everything and decide what still fits and what doesn't make sense anymore.
Right, like
And
nothing's
talk-
sacred.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to toss things out. Like, you know, we don't have kitty pets anymore at all. That's just not something we have.
Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we don't have, like, a lot of people have been asking, well, how is Catcher going to exist if there's no farm? Catcher's existence was never contingent on the farm. He's just an Unbound now. Like, you know, you don't have to have the farm to have Catcher.
Yeah. He is a cat who left the colonies.
So I think that also is maybe some advice, like, look at the core of the characters and the core of the story, and think about, well, do you really need these things for that to happen? Or are those things, like, you know, like with Catcher, we don't need the farm to have Catcher. So we can get rid of it.
Now I don't have to draw buildings ever again.
Huzzah!
Fantastic.
Huzzah.
And a similar thing too is someone asked, you know, like, if there aren't any kitty pets, then how does that work with Ice Claw? And it's like, well, then Ice Claw just goes out and he kills Unbound cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, just don't, like, limit yourself into having to make a one-for-one analogy to everything from the fans, from whatever you're making a fan work of, or whatever it was a fan work of originally. Like, we don't need kitty pets. We don't need the moon pool. We don't need a lot of these things
Mm-hmm.
because they don't work for our story as well. They don't, like, we don't have to make it like an off-brand Warrior Cats. I mean, I know we're gonna get called an off-brand Warrior Cats, but
Oh, absolutely.
like we don't, and you know, that's not necessarily even derogatory, but
I don't mind being an off-brand Warrior Cats. I
think
mean,
we
Warrior
are.
Cats is an off-brand us.
no, well, okay. I do kind of have a little rant about this because, like, I think especially for younger people, there is an idea of, like, you know, oh, you know, if my idea isn't 100% original, then is it even worth telling? Yes!
Yes,
It is absolutely
yes, always.
worth telling. Like, please do not let this bullshit idea of, like, oh, well, you know, I'm kind of been in,
Originality.
yeah, like, this isn't completely 100% inspired, or I take inspiration from this. Like, don't let that stop you from creating.
I've
Fan
been
art,
writing stories about cats and wolves since I was like 4 years old. Like, I don't.
fan
don't
art is
understand.
super fucking valid, and don't let yourself feel like a lesser creator or artist because you do fan work.
Pulpa Koopa!
Yeah, that too.
Ray just got home.
Welcome, Ray.
Pool's in the house.
Here he goes.
Yeah, like, absolutely that. I used to be that way. I think a lot of young creators are that way, where they're so afraid of being compared to anything else. And, like, yeah, it doesn't feel the best when you're compared to something else. But,
Mhm.
like, Warriors take so much inspiration from other works of the genre, from things like Tail Chaser Song, which took so much from
Watership
Watership
Down.
Like, okay, here's a good one for you, alright? Look at Dungeons and Dragons. It's awesome, right? We all love Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons, you know, is so much of what the fantasy genre is. And so much of Dungeons and Dragons is borrowing from Tolkien.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does that make it not as good? Does that make it not enjoyable? No, it does not.
Well, because also, correct me if I'm wrong, but the concept of, like, elves, like Tolkien's elves, and how we view elves in, like, fantasy today and in D&D is, like, basically something that came completely from Tolkien.
Yeah.
Because, like, elves
pretty
before
much.
Tolkien were always just, like...
Like Keebler elves.
Yeah, like Keebler
Yeah.
elves,
They
or
were
Santa's
fae. They're
Workshop
just kind of-
elves.
Yeah, they were just a type of fae, like these noble, you know, human-sized creatures with this beautiful, like, grace about them. did not exist before Tolkien. Zia Madsen says the same thing with orcs.
Yeah.
Tolkien really codified a lot of what is in modern fantasy. Most of modern fantasy is just Lord of the Rings fanfic, if you get right down to it. And that does not make any of it less enjoyable. A lot of the greatest works of fiction in our time have been fan fiction of some sort or another, and that does not make them less.
Oh, my favorite one to point out is that, like, the greatest painters of all time that most artists think about, most of them just did Bible fan art.
Right?
Yeah, it's just Bible. I mean, even some of the greatest works of fiction, Dante's Inferno is just Bible fanfic. So much of fantasy
Dante, dude.
is Greek mythology or Arthurian legend fan fiction. Like, look how much great literature is about the Greek gods. That's
Yeah.
all fan fiction.
So please don't let the concept of needing to be original stop you from creating, please.
And especially not when the thing you're being inspired by
Is already derivative.
is already a derivative of other things and uses such very baseline tropes. Like, I can't think of a single thing in Warrior Cats that isn't also present somewhere else in popular fiction.
Mhm.
Like we were just talking about this before the stream, where we're like, yeah, Warrior Cats, and this isn't a dig on Warrior Cats. People gotta get paid, and Warrior Cats was largely written as it was essentially made to be popular cat series, right? Like, it was
Yes.
created
It was
by
made to make money.
groups. It was made to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. People gotta get paid.
Mhm.
So a lot of the things that you see in Warrior Cats are just, well, what's this popular trope, and can we use it? Like, having the 4 clans. Gosh, where do we see a group of 4 in fiction that's really popular?
Everywhere, actually.
Like, or like, having the 2-part names. A lot of things have the 2-part name system.
Mhm.
A lot of things have like some sort of rank advancement that's marked by a special name or title.
Or ceremony.
Yeah, ceremonies. The cats meeting at the full moon. That's in fucking Cats, dude. Like, like there's a lot of, and none of
Them
these
Jellicle
things
cats.
make warriors bad. Like, none of these things make warriors a less creative work of fiction. It's just,
A trope.
here's a lot of popular story tropes, and here they all are.
Mhm.
And you can do that, and it's fine. You could use all the same tropes that Warriors uses and do it your own way, and it's still yours. Sorry, I have a lot of feelings about this, because every so
I think
often...
this is a really good discussion.
Yeah, because, like, every so often, and a lot of the time people are really well-meaning about it. I usually don't get bothered by this, but, like, I've seen people be like, oh, Stellar Eclipse is just humanized warrior cats. And I'm like, well, in a lot of ways, yeah. And
Kinda.
that doesn't mean that it's, and usually when people say that, they're being like, they're joking around, they're teasing. I know them, and I know they don't mean any harm by it. But,
Mhm.
like, just this one time someone said it as, like, a derogatory, and I was like, what's wrong with that? Like,
Yeah.
And it's not all like that either. There's also inspiration from a lot of other things I see.
yeah,
Like-
Batman TAS, gargoyles,
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, because we're all of us shaped by our experiences, shaped by the media we consume.
Mhm.
And if you create from yourself, part of that's going to end up in what you create. There's no avoiding it. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's better to just embrace it and enjoy it than fight and say that, oh no, it's not inspired by this. It's not this thing that it very obviously is, because if you do that, people are just going to look at you like you're a moron. And I know, because I've done that. Because I've tried to, pass off fan fiction as original when it was very clearly fan fiction. And people didn't look at me weird for that until I tried to deny it,
Right.
because it would have been fine to just own it. But like my little stupid teenager brain was like, oh no, everything I write is original, and it's like, no, it doesn't have to be.
Exactly.
You can just write your bad Hetalia fanfic. It's fine. And now I write My Hero Academia fanfiction. So yeah, sorry for that long rant, but
No,
That was
it's
a
a
good
good
tangent.
rant.
yeah,
I love that rant.
to those out there who want to like tear us down, you're an off-brand warrior cats is not the own that you think it is. Because
Yeah.
Also, go for it. I don't fucking care. Tear us down all you want.
It's fine.
like odds are
Like, I
good I'm
really-
just gonna delete your comment anyway, because like I said, if you're just here to leave mean words, probably I'm just gonna delete it. Like if you've got some solid constructive criticism in there, like, hey, you know, this frame right here looked kind of awkward, or like
Oh yes,
someone pointed
please
out,
critique. Critique is
someone-
great.
Someone I think pointed out that like in the forward-facing walk cycles with Peach and Spotty, like their bodies move but their heads don't move at all, and it's kind of awkward. And I'm like, okay, that's something we can learn from. Like,
You
Well,
right.
I mean, that was one of those things that we knew about, like, when we were making it, but it was just like, you know, I do not have the time to reanimate this right now.
there are times where you just gotta release it, and
Yeah.
it's never gonna be perfect, and you just gotta
Mhm.
kind of say, is it worth it to delay the release date to fix this, or is it good enough?
Yeah,
It's good
exactly.
enough.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it just has to be good enough. And, you know, if people are gonna call us on that, like, you're not wrong. Okay.
Well, it's one of
We're
those things.
literally like 4 people and some other hired animators. Like, it's hard, man.
It's hard.
Yeah, there's gonna be issues. There's gonna be things we can improve on. And if you have some good, solid, you know, critique or constructive comments on how we could maybe do better, then hell yeah. But if you're just here to say that we're ripping something off, leave. Why are you here?
But what I was
Yeah,
gonna
like, if
say
you don't
though,
like it, you don't gotta stay.
what I was gonna say though is like, it's one of those things that now that I've tried to do that shot, you know, with them walking forward,
Oh yeah.
like I know how I want to try and tackle that differently in the future if we ever have another shot like that. So either way, like I've learned from it.
Right. I feel exactly the same about all the animation I did. Because I know what was successful, like what people pointed out as, oh my god, that looks amazing, that's so smooth. And that looks a little bit awkward. So now I'm going to sort of fix my methods based on that and see
Yeah.
what's good.
Because, I mean, this is still a passion project. This is still something we do when we have to, or like when we have time to work on it. Like, it's a labor of love, and we're all still learning.
Oh, hey, May was here. I'm sorry to hear about your
Aw.
cat.
Yeah, that's awful. I'm so sorry.
I don't have
Tips?
any coping tips, but I do know that, you know, losing a pet is really hard, and you know, you will feel better eventually, but it's okay to just be sad.
Yeah, sorry, trigger warning, pet death. I lost a dog
Is it
that-
about cats?
well, someone in the comments, their cat passed yesterday, and they're asking us for help on how to deal with grieving. So if you want to like dip for a second, Teef, that's fine.
As long as nobody's like actively, it's a very specific trigger, and I would take time to explain the whole thing, but it would take me a while. So, no worries,
Yeah.
you're fine.
But yeah, my general advice, and grieving is such a personal thing. No one can really tell you how to do it, and no one really should tell you how to do it. You just kind of have to do what feels right, as long as you're not causing any harm to yourself or others.
Mhm.
So if you just you need to be alone to process your feelings, that's okay. If you want to have the people that you care for in your life with you and, maybe like do something to get your mind off of it, that's okay too. Whatever you need to do to process these feelings that isn't harming yourself or others is totally fine. And sometimes it can take a little bit to actually happen. I lost my dog of God, I'm 28 this year, so she was 15. I lost my dog of 15 years last August, and we had to have her put down as well. And for the first couple of weeks, I didn't really feel anything, and then it just kind of hit me all at once a little bit after. That happens sometimes too, so if you're not feeling particularly sad right now and you feel guilty about that, that's also valid. Sometimes it takes a minute for those feelings to come. So I guess just let yourself feel what you're feeling, give yourself permission to do what you need to do to feel better. And as long, again, as it's not hurting you or anyone else. And eventually you will adjust.
You never actually get over it,
Yeah.
but it does get easier because you get stronger.
Yeah, like, don't expect yourself to never be sad about this again. Like, I'm still sad about my dog many months later. Like, I'll go to my parents' house and I get sad because she's not there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like it's causing me to, I don't tear up and start crying every time I think about it now. I've gotten more used to it. And that doesn't mean that I don't miss her anymore. I'll always miss her. But I can move on. It's okay.
Yeah.
I just keep her with me in my memories. And someday when you remember your cat and all the wonderful times you had with your cat, it won't hurt so much.
Mm-hmm.
Weird Animal Guy says crying in the club right now. And yet, yeah, sometimes it be that way.
Dude, I cry because I love cats so much.
They're good beans.
Yeah, there's like really no other reason. I just fucking love them so much. I'm not even drunk or anything. I just fucking love them.
Just want to see them happy.
Yeah, I just want them to be happy and okay.
And they get so much shit from people.
Yeah.
They just living their little kitty lives.
And little bosses. I have 7 cats that live in my house.
They are all very good
Yes.
and well
I have
loved.
4 that are considered like my clouder. They come with me everywhere. They sleep downstairs with me and everything. The other 3 are like older cats that prefer to be alone and not with other cats.
I keep forgetting that a group of cats is called a clouder.
Yeah.
I keep thinking it's chowder, and I'm like, what? That's right, Winnie. A group of you is a clouder.
Oh, could you imagine more than one Winnie?
Oh,
No, I hate it. No.
that sounds like heaven.
If you've never heard the Winnie voice, that's the Winnie voice.
Winnie boy.
I use a special voice to talk as my cat. Someone is asking if there's no more kitty pets, does that mean Snowfeather was just an unbound? Yes. Any cat that's a rogue or a kitty pet before is now just an unbound. Wattpad says clouders over colonies. That's right, it's the field clouder. Like,
That would be a smaller group of cats.
yeah, also clouder just... Okay. So
It does
here's-
not roll off the tongue.
Okay,
No.
well, I forget what it's called. It's not onomatopoeia, necessarily. But it's using words that sound like their meaning, and not necessarily as sound effects like onomatopoeia, but like Clouder, because it has that OW sound, it sounds softer. It sounds less threatening. Like when you hear the word Clouder, you don't think violence and death.
Because
basically.
cloud.
So Colony sounds a little bit more because it has the E sound at the end, and like, there's just a whole bunch of shit that goes into this. It's like a pretty intensive theory, but like Colony sounds more official than like Clouder. Clouder sounds too soft, too comfortable for what the story needs.
Clouder sounds like they're all about ready to go to knitting club.
Aw,
Yeah, like
cute.
because Clouder sounds like cloud, so you think soft, you think comfortable.
They're all gonna go make bread together.
Oh, they all go making biscuits.
Oh, little kitties.
They all go to the Moonlight Gathering and make biscuits.
Yes.
Yeah,
All bread
Moodle
making kitters.
McDoodle, the best name ever I've seen. Clouder is cute and silly. Colony sounds serious. Like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, Clouder, I think, is like Snapdragon said. I'm gonna just call you Snappy.
You can call me whatever.
It's Clouder. I think is like a smaller group. I think it's like any group of less than 7 or 6 or something, and then
Something like that.
after
I
that
don't
it's
actually
Colony.
know, but it is like a smaller group. Because a big colony of cats is called a colony of cats, so...
Yeah. A couple people have asked what the age demographic is going to be. We are shooting for a little bit older than warrior cats, so think more like young adult-ish, probably like early young adult.
I don't know, man. I don't have like any age demographic that I've ever been a part of, so like I can't judge that.
In terms of the way I'm writing it, I'm going for young adult.
Yeah.
So, like high school age, a little bit older than the Warrior Cat series is aimed at.
I just want to animate some bloody fight scenes is all.
Yeah, we're going to have a little more violence than we could get away with the children's series.
A little more trauma, more like it.
Yeah.
Coffee the Lynx says, do you like FNAF? I like Willy's Wonderland! Steve, have you seen Willy's Wonderland?
I have not, no.
Oh my god. You need to. I think it'll be right up your alley. It's basically Nicolas Cage, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh my god.
And Nicolas Cage doesn't say a single fucking line the entire movie. He does not speak.
That's interesting.
And it's incredible. I was like, is he just not gonna talk? And no, he doesn't. He does not talk the entire film.
Is it like available to stream somewhere?
It's on Amazon, but it's $20.
Oh shit, son.
So like maybe wait, but like
Yeah.
Tiny Bean Boy,
That sounds
I
fun.
do like FNAF as well, or at least I did. And then the lore got a little bit crazy for me to
The
follow.
lore is crazy, yeah. I did like watching people play the game, like the
Yeah,
original
like,
2 or
I
3
still enjoy-
games.
I still enjoy watching like Markiplier's Let's Play like of the first game because I think that was just peak comedy.
Oh yeah, that
Um,
was comedy, man.
But I know that like there was gonna be a FNAF movie, and I feel like they recycled it into Willy's Wonderland because I haven't heard anything about the FNAF movie for a long time. And the animatronic designs in Willy's Wonderland look like something Scott Cawthon would have made. So I get the feeling that maybe they like took, like maybe whatever happened, the FNAF movie like broke down or something. Like Tiny Bean Boy says there is going to be a movie. Maybe part of it leaked to a different studio and they took that and made Willy's Wonderland out of it because it is very Five Nights at Freddy's-esque.
Oh, that's cool though. I'll totally watch both. I don't give a crap.
Yeah, I'll still watch the FNAF movie. Are you kidding?
I just like the idea of animatronics coming alive at night and fucking stuffing people into them. It's amazing.
I am
Oh,
too
I'm
soft
waiting.
for horror.
I am hoping that theaters are open by the time the Five Nights at Freddy's movie comes out, because I want to see that in theaters. I want to see that in theaters, and I want to buy like the novelty popcorn holder with like the characters on the side of it, and
Yo, I always buy the blankets.
Sean and I
Oh, wait,
watched a
hold up.
playthrough
Hold up.
of someone playing Five Nights at Freddy's once, and we both had nightmares.
Oh no!
Okay, hang on. Tiny Bean Boy says, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is being made by Blumhouse. Have you seen the new trailer? I have not seen the trailer, and I did not know it was
Oh.
being handled by Blumhouse, because
Bloomhouse.
Blumhouse can be
Alright.
hit or miss, but I generally like their films. You're
Yeah,
gonna learn
for
right
the
now
most
that
part.
Snap and I are the horror fans, and Water and Tennille are not.
I don't know what you're talking
Yeah.
about, but I'm scared.
He's scared. He's a scared boy.
So yeah, I love scary movies. I am a total chicken. Whenever we watch, like, and it's so awful because, like, we have Lights. I don't know who bought it, but we have a DVD of Lights Out, because I also really like James Wan, and we have a copy of it, and like Janie has seen it, but none of us have watched this DVD because it's still in the wrapping, and we don't know who bought it. It's there though, and I keep being like, oh yeah, let's watch it with the lights all off at night, and it'll be super scary. And both Janie and Ray look at me like, you're gonna be like clinging to your pillow and like refusing to walk down the 3-step hallway at night. And I'm like, yep.
Mm-hmm.
I am a little chicken shit, but I love
You-
scary movies.
Are the favorite person to watch the horror films with. I love people like that are willing to watch it but are also like chicken shit about it. My favorite.
I'm so scared. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a horror movie not through my fingers. We watched Host when it came out on Shudder, and like I was
sweet.
so jumpy the whole time, and I really need to rewatch it now that I've actually used Zoom more than once.
I'm too, I don't know, like too brave, I guess. And sometimes they don't hit me like I would like them to hit me, so I like watching them with people that get genuinely freaked out, because then I can like get into it better.
Oh yeah,
It's
then
good.
we absolutely need to watch scary movies when you come visit for the wedding, because I
Yes.
get so jumpy and I'm just looking around. I don't remember what it, I think I got this Spotty Paw. I think we got
Do you guys approve?
There it is. Oh, it's so
Um,
cute.
so The Grudge, right? I am terrified of The Grudge.
Oh,
I
man,
can't
haven't
even
watched
look
that
at the
since it came
cover of
out.
that movie without getting scared. And for some reason, last year, I had this brilliant idea to rewatch it with my roommates, who I don't know if Janie had seen it before. Ray did, and he really liked it.
Yeah.
So we watched The Grudge. And like later that night, I was like, okay, I need to go to the bathroom. Ray, walk with me. Go to the bathroom. I can't go by myself. So yeah, I am, and it was my idea to watch it. So yeah, I'm that person.
That's
and-
so funny.
Watching scary movies with me is great. The It re-release, the new ones,
Yeah.
probably one, like, I wasn't really scared watching it. I was just massively entertained. I love
Yes.
those movies. I
Like the first one was legit kind of scary, but then
Yeah.
the second take on it was like just so entertaining. It was so good.
I wasn't even aware that it was like 3 hours long. We went to
Yeah.
go see it at the time, Janie's boyfriend, because he had like the whole, like, his family wanted to go see it, so we went with his family, and they had like the membership to the theater, so we had popcorn, we had sodas, we had
Oh,
candy.
fantastic.
We
You
had,
were
like,
living
the
high.
reserved seats. And we were just sitting there and we're like, 3 hours have gone by? I don't, when?
Yeah. I
It
love
wasn't
movies
scary,
like that.
It was just super funny. Or not funny necessarily, just entertaining. I was
Yeah.
engaged at all times. The first one scared me though.
Well, the first one is scary.
We went to see that with a friend of ours, and like we were almost in the front row because we went like opening weekend, so all the freaking seats were bought, so we had to be like almost in the front row, and that spooked me.
It's fun. I remember seeing The Grudge in theaters back in the day, and I haven't watched it basically since it came out, and I should probably watch it again.
Oh, Janie and I went to see Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark in theaters. That was
I have
fantastic.
not seen that one,
Oh,
actually.
it was really, I want there to be more PG-13 horror movies because I want more horror stuff that's accessible to younger people. I really liked it. Guillermo del Toro directed, so of course it's God tier
perfect.
me.
Yeah.
And like, it was fun. It was like not quite an anthology film, but I think they found a really good way to tie all the different stories from the books together. Great use of practical effects, great use of the original illustrations.
I used to read that book.
Oh,
with
I
my
love
friends.
that book.
And
I've
we
reread
just
that
would
book.
crack up because some of them are so funny.
Yeah, like some of them, I don't know if there's a single story in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark that I think is actually scary. It's
Oh
just
no,
the
there
art.
isn't.
It's just the illustrations, and that's the art style that they use for the movie, and I'm so glad because they've since re-released those books with the illustrator who did a series of unfortunate events to just tie this all back around. And they're good illustrations, but they are not the originals, like by any means. Yeah, Zia Madsen says that movie unironically slapped. The monster designs translated so well. It was a time like Ray couldn't go. I probably will never show that movie to Ray because it has a lot of content that would trigger him. But it was good stuff. Flowery Fruit Fangs. I still need to watch Pan's Labyrinth. I have owned a copy for years and I've just never gotten around to watching it because I'll have to have the subtitles on.
Try to watch pretty much every horror movie I can get my hands on, but I rely very, very heavily on the site Does the Dog Die because I have a very specific trigger involving violence towards cats, house cats specifically, and a lot of them have that in them, and I'm like, why are you doing this to me?
Why are you targeting me personally?
Well, especially when it just comes out of nowhere sometimes and it's just there for shock value.
And it's not tasteful either. It's just there for shock value every time. They only ever kill the animal or hurt the animal in a film for shock value, and it's underhanded and it's dumb and I hate it.
I think the only
where
film...
they never killed the animals in like 90s movies, but then after the 90s it was all free game.
Like I think the only film I've ever seen where they killed the animal that I thought it was actually decent was The Hills Have Eyes, because then the other one gets revenge.
That movie. That movie is awful, and it's very like shock.
Yeah, it's not John Carpenter's best. I'm just giving it as an example of like the only time I could stand the animal thing was this one, specifically because the surviving animal got revenge. Like that's the only, like if you're not specifically getting revenge for the dead animal, don't kill the animal. It's not.
Like I can handle dogs. Like I can disassociate from that it's real. I'm like, oh, it's just a horror movie. That dog did a great job of acting, all that other stuff. But like then if it's a cat, I can't separate from that. I just can't like get it out of my brain. It's very specific trigger. It's really weird.
So definitely Pet Sematary is a no-no for you then, for sure.
No, Pet Sematary was fine, actually.
Well, I guess it's off-screen that it happens, so maybe that's...
Yeah.
Okay, and I have to amend, Pet Sematary, it was the whole plot, so...
Right. And I actually really like the Pet Sematary remake. Too. No, that was pretty cool. But, I don't know, it's very specific Like, there are some times that it's okay and sometimes that it's not. So, it's weird.
Yeah, people are asking in the chat about different horror movies. I love horror movies, but there's still a lot I need to see. I have not seen Ginger Snaps. It's on my watch list for Shudder. I can't
Oh, I
watch
love that
Hereditary.
movie.
I won't watch Hereditary. I don't
No?
think I'm comfortable with any of those movies. Not that they're not good movies, but like I've heard about what's in that particular director's body of work, and none of it sounds like something I would be okay with. Just
I really
personally.
liked Hereditary. I thought it was really interesting. And
Oh, it looks fantastic. I just can't watch it.
yeah, and that's totally fine, yo.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing with being a horror fan, is that, like, I love horror. I love so much of it, but there are some things that I just can't watch. And sometimes I don't even know why. Like, Incident in a
Yeah.
Ghostland was fantastic. I will never watch it again. It, like, upset me for multiple days.
Like, there's a lot of things that my sister won't watch, and there's a few things that I just don't really care to watch. Like, excessive gore, like gore porn, hostile stuff. Like, it's just, meh. I'll watch it, but
past the first
it's,
Saw is like, nah.
yeah, it's just not great. There are dogs running around all over the place.
Like, the things that bother me in scary movies are so eclectic that it can be really hard to tell, which is why I will spoil horror movies for myself before I watch it.
Oh yeah,
Because
that's why I
just-
go to
I
Does
just
the
need to
Dog
know
Die,
that-
because they list, like, all the triggers.
Yeah. Like, especially if I'm gonna go see it in the movie theaters, like, I need to know that I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah. I've been watching horror movies since I was too young to be watching horror movies, so...
Like, my parents really like scary movies, so, like, they would always, like, screen them, like, when I was a kid. Like, they would watch it first, and then they would decide if it was okay for me and my brother to watch it.
Yeah, my mom would just let me watch shit. Can you not spam the same question over and over and over again?
If we don't answer a question, it's probably because we don't want to. Sorry, we kind of gotten onto a track that Tennille was not really able to be a part
Neil
of.
does not like horror. Horror is not his thing.
It's alright, I'm just drawing peachy eyes.
Yeah. She's
Yeah,
just on Peach. Vibing.
I love the bottom. I love the bottom left one. I'm filing that under images I can hear because I just hear. I think
Oh, I think.
there aren't enough cute marshland apprentice or new claws. Sly little girl.
She is the best.
Fizzy Dizzy asks, "Would Peachy watch horror films?"
I bet she
Probably.
would. I bet she would.
She
bet
totally
she would.
would.
And I bet she would look like that far right with all the foof the whole time.
Yeah, I bet she would be that kind of person that, like, just really likes to freak herself out. But
Yeah.
can, like, separate from it because she's so, like, good-natured.
Like,
She's like,
she would
oh,
be
it's not
scared.
real, Pool. Don't worry about it. And Pool's like, but,
Spotted Shadow would be like, "Why are you watching this? This is not age appropriate."
Dear
is
Lord.
this rated R? Well, yeah, but...
Who let you get this?
Well, we'll skip the bad scene.
I already watched it 3 times. I know exactly when the timestamps are for the bad parts, so that Pool won't get too scared.
Wolf's
Okay.
like, "I'm not gonna get scared, gosh," and then he's like trembling.
A jump scare happens and he freaks out.
Oh, Winnie, all your fur is sticking up on one side. Silly. Can we talk about my sticky up fur, Mom? She's just glaring at me. Oh, look at the little spot paw. Little beans.
Little beans.
Oh, that's cute.
I think I am at a stopping point for today.
Yes.
I've gotten a lot of this done, and I finished another one of these before the stream started, so...
Yeah, I've kind of been slowing down a little bit, so...
It's pretty late for you guys too, so I think
Yeah, I'm
that's
getting
good
hungry.
time.
I told Tiff we got Taco Bell, but that was several hours
Oh,
ago
yeah.
before the stream,
I was
and
like,
now I'm
yeah,
hungry again. I need
Time to eat
sustenance.
food.
Yeah, we'll end it here with Peach is the one that you think is a sweet cinnamon roll, but is actually the worst influence on her friends. She's the one who shows them like scary movies and.
It's fine because my mom let me watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be that kid.
Me too.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was me. I was like, oh, have you seen this YouTube video?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
always
I
I
really
the
watched this movie.
I was always the have
And
you
the
seen this
neighbor's mom
YouTube
was
video? Have you seen Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Right? Like, this new horror film came out. My mom rented it and we watched it last night. It was really cool. We should watch it. And then their mom is like, what's the rating on that? PG-13.
Totally.
Probably. Well, she's 12, so
Totally.
I'm like, it's fine.
But yeah, I think that's gonna be it. We'll do these streams sometimes on Wednesdays. Sometimes we won't. It's more so just like whether we're up to streaming while we're working and that kind of thing. But if these streams happen, they'll likely happen on Wednesdays.
Yeah, likely. Not always, maybe. Who knows?
Mhm.
These aren't like the big monthly ones like we did with the lore stream last month. This is just us chatting while we work on things.
Yeah.
Getting things done.
So thank you to those of you who showed up. I did see
And
some
asked a
very
lot of-
funny comments.
Yeah, nice comments, some good questions. Thank y'all.
Yeah, we like you guys. You're cool. I did see a question in there that was like, is it okay to use Clouded Moon as inspiration? And yes, absolutely, always.
Mm-hmm.
Run
for
wild
sure.
with it. Be free.
Go for it. Make fan fictions. We can't read them, of course, but make whatever you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like don't tag us in your fan fictions or email it to us or anything because we literally cannot read it because potential plagiarism that could happen like accidentally. But if you want to write it, if you want to make an OC, go for it. Do what you want.
Yeah.
You do you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.